Hey dear learners, welcome back to e-learning platform of GS College of Commerce, Wardha. I'm Assistant Professor Rajeshwari Sharma and this lecture is for the Business Economics for the class BCom Semester 1. Under this chapter, we are dealing with our last unit, that is 4th unit, and today we are going to see the second topic under our 4th unit, that is cost concept. Today under this topic we would be seeing the different types of cost, and it's very important to understand the meaning of different types of cost because it's important from the point of view of your traditional question papers as well, and if we talk about the multiple choice question, still this type of concept carry a huge amount of importance. So let's begin with the cost concept. So before understanding the cost concepts, we need to understand what is the meaning of cost. What is actually the cost is? Cost is the amount of expenditure that has been spent for the production of particular goods and services. Like while discussing production function, we have seen that production function is a relationship between input and output. Okay, production function is a relationship between input and output, and here we say that production function shows the relationship between physical input and physical output. Means how much amount of input you are putting in the production process, and due to that input how much change is there in your output. We have seen this in physical terms. Now when we are talking about the cost function, so cost function is a relationship between cost of inputs and output. Means different when we talk about the production of particular commodities or delivering particular services, so various types of cost are required, various types of cost are incurred. Like raw material is purchased, laborers are employed, if the capital is borrowed, so interest is given. So these are the different types of cost. Okay, so here we consider cost of input and then its relationship with output. Means cost function is a relationship between the cost of input and output. But in production function, we see the relationship between physical input and physical output. But in cost function, we see the monetary relationship between the cost of input and output. So there is monetary relationship. I hope you are clear with the meaning of cost function. Now we will see the various types of cost. So first one over here is explicit cost and implicit cost. What is basically the explicit cost? When we talk about the explicit cost, so it is actual cost which is incurred by an entrepreneur. Okay, like if you are purchasing the raw material, if you are paying wages to the laborers, if you are paying interest on loan, so all these are known as explicit cost. It's actually paid by the entrepreneur. It actually goes out of pocket of the entrepreneur, and the explicit cost is recorded in the books of accounting. It is the actual payment made by the entrepreneur for various expenses. On the other hand, if we talk about the implicit cost, so what is mean by implicit cost? Implicit cost is the cost of self-owned factors of the entrepreneur. We will try to understand this with the help of an example. See, I'm entrepreneur and I'm providing the consultancy services. For that I require an office, and as an office I'm using one room in my flat. Okay, so as I'm using my own flat now, so I don't have to pay rent for that flat. But if I would have used another's flat, I would have rented some house outside, so I would be in need of making payment of the rent of that flat, right? So it is the implicit cost. Implicit cost is a cost which is not being paid by the entrepreneur actually, but it is a cost. If he would have not used his own resources, if he would have to employ resources from the outside, so he would have to pay that cost. So this is implicit cost. Okay. The next one is accounting cost. Accounting cost is basically similar to the explicit cost. It's actually the cost which are recorded in the books of accounts. When we talk about the explicit cost, so it is actually paid, it is actually incurred, it is the cost which are actually paid by the entrepreneur, like rent of building, wages to laborers, electricity bill, etc. So these are the costs which are actually paid by the entrepreneur and recorded in the books of accounts. So explicit cost can also be known as accounting cost, and they are recorded in the books of accounts. The next one is economic cost. When we talk about economic cost, so economic cost is the summation of accounting cost and the cost of self-owned factor, means the implicit cost. So economic cost includes both explicit cost as well as implicit cost. And economic cost also includes normal profit. Normal profit means what? The profit, the normal rate of profit, means if the entrepreneur would have not run any business and he would have invested his money somewhere else as well, so he could have got that much return. That profit is known as normal profit. Okay, and it is included in economic cost. So when we talk about the economic cost, so it includes actual cost, that is accounting cost, as well as cost of self-owned factors. Now cost of self-owned factors means implicit cost. Like I have given you the example of a room. That I am using my own room, so I don't have to pay rent of that. But if I wouldn't be having that and I would have rented some room outside, so I would have to incur that cost. In the same way, you assume you are having capital. Okay, you are having capital, but if you would not be having capital and you would have borrowed it from outside, so you would have to pay interest on that capital. Okay, so that one is also a part of implicit cost, because you are using the capital in business as it's your own capital, so you don't have to pay interest on it. But if you would not be having your own capital and you would have borrowed it from outside, so you would have to pay interest on it. So it's also an example of implicit cost. Like if you are entrepreneur, okay, you are working in your own enterprise, but if you would not have started your own enterprise and you would be working somewhere outside in some other office or in some other enterprise, so you would have got salary. Okay, so your salary that you are not taking because you are working in your own enterprise is also a kind of implicit cost, because you are providing resources, you are providing services. Okay, so this is also a part of implicit cost. So when we talk about the economic cost, so it is a summation of economic explicit cost plus implicit cost. Now just see two concepts under the economic cost so that we can understand the difference between the accounting profit and the economic profit. See, just assume that your implicit cost is 5,000 and your explicit cost is 2,000. Okay, your implicit cost is 5,000 and your explicit cost is 2,000 and your total revenue is 7,000. It means you are spending 7,000 rupees. It may be explicit cost, it may be implicit cost, but you are spending 7,000 rupees in your business. You are investing 7,000 rupees in your business and you are getting total revenue of 7,000 rupees only. So would you be in profitable situation? Are you earning any profit over here? No, you are not earning any profit over here. You are at zero economic profit if your total revenue is equals to the sum of your implicit cost plus explicit cost. Now take the another example. See, one thing is there. Suppose if you are talking about the accounting profit, so you would not mention this implicit cost in your books of accounts, and therefore in your books of accounts you will see the profit of rupees 5,000. But actually, if you would have calculated the cost of your own resources, so it would have been 5,000 and your profit would have become 0. So that is why when the total revenue is equals to the summation of implicit cost and the explicit cost, so you would be at the position of zero economic profit. The next situation is you are spending implicit cost of rupees 5,000 and again explicit cost of rupees 2,000. But here your total revenue is rupees 9,000. So now your economic profit would be 2,000 rupees over here. 9,000 minus 7,000 would be equals to 2,000. So this way, when your total revenue is greater than the summation of explicit cost and implicit cost, so you would earn economic profit, which is also known as supernormal profit. Okay, so I hope now we are clear with the concept of economic cost. We have seen this concept in detail. The next one is opportunity cost. Now what is mean by opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative. It is the cost of opportunity which has been sacrificed, which has been foregone. And when we talk about the opportunity cost, so it comes into existence due to fact that the resources are having alternative uses. You can use it for many purposes. If you are having piece of land, you can use it for the agricultural purpose, or you can use it for the setting up of plant. But you can make use of this piece of land only for one purpose. So if you are choosing one, so you have to forego another purpose. Okay. So the profit that you would have earned by using that land for another purpose is being foregone. So that sacrifice, that foregone profit is known as opportunity cost. Like we have taken the example of the capital. Okay. Now just assume that instead of investing capital in my own business, if I have invested somewhere else, so I would have got return on that investment. But as I'm using capital in my own business, so I would not be able to invest it somewhere else, and the profit or the returns that I would have got by investing that capital is foregoing. So that cost of sacrificing those profit would be known as opportunity cost. And of course, this opportunity cost is not recorded in the books of account. The next one is outlay cost. So again, outlay cost is the cost which is actually paid, and it involves many kinds of financial expenditure or the financial outflow which is actually done by the business, like cost of raw material, cost of machinery, etc. And when we talk about the outlay cost, so it is actually recorded in the books of accounts. The next one is direct cost. Direct cost is also known as traceable cost. These are directly visible or traceable in the product. Like its calculator, so we can see that the material, the plastic, these buttons have been used for making this calculator. So cost of this material and buttons would be direct cost in this calculator. Okay. So direct cost refers to those costs which can directly be associated with the product. Okay. Which can directly be associated with the machine. Like if you are using a certain machine and you know how much liter petrol is required to operate that machine, so it would be known as direct cost, because how much liter petrol is required to operate that machine would directly be associated to the operation of that machine. So that is traceable to that machine. That is why the cost of that petrol would be known as direct cost. So direct cost or the traceable cost is the cost which can directly be associated with the product, which can be directly traced in a particular product. The next one is indirect cost, or it's also known as non-traceable cost. Like cost of electricity is a non-traceable cost. You are having factory whereby you are operating 5 machines. So now you cannot associate cost of electricity with each machine. You cannot recognize how much electricity has been consumed by one machine, how much electricity has been consumed by 2 machines. So indirect costs are those costs which are incurred but which are not directly associated in the product, which cannot directly be traced in the product. Those costs are known as indirect cost. The next one is sunk cost. Sunk cost means the cost that cannot be recovered. Okay, that has been already spent in the past. Like you have made the advertisement expenditure, but after making advertisement expenditure, your sales are not increasing. So you cannot recover the cost of that advertisement expenditure. So that advertisement expenditure would become your sunk cost. You have invested some amount in research and development, and you have introduced a new product in the market, but that product has completely failed in the market. So the cost of that research and development cannot be recovered. So that's going to be your sunk cost. Okay, the next one is incremental cost. When we talk about the incremental cost, so it is related to the future. It would be invested now, or it would be invested in future. Like you are thinking of setting up a new plant, or you are thinking of buying a new machinery. So it's going to be your incremental cost that you are planning to spend now or in future. That's known as incremental cost. The next one is historical past. Now, don't get confused between sunk cost and historical cost, because historical cost is also spent in past, but it is spent for acquiring the machines or the things which are used for productive purposes. Means the historical cost is generally the cost which is spent for the productive purposes, like buying machine or something else. So that is known as historical cost. Next one is replacement cost. Replacement cost means if you want to replace your old machine, so you have to incur some cost. That is known as replacement cost. Like, and you will always find some difference in the historical cost and the replacement cost. Just assume you have bought a machine in year 2018 for rupees 20 lakh. Okay, and now when you are planning to buy that machine in year 2021, so it's costing to rupees 22 lakh. So again, it's due to price fluctuation. Okay, because when you want to replace this machine, so you would have to incur 22 lakh. It's all because of price fluctuation. So you will always find some difference between the historical cost and the replacement cost. Okay, the next one is variable cost. When we talk about the variable cost, so it's also known as prime cost. Okay, and it is the function of output. Means the variable cost increases with increase in output and decreases with decrease in output. Like you are producing the calculators. So if you are producing 100 units of calculator, so you would require less amount of raw material. But if you are increasing the units from 100 to 200, so the amount that you would be requiring for producing this calculator, that is raw material, labor, machines, would also increase. So it's known as variable cost. Means variable cost is the cost which increases with production, which increases with the units of production or decreases with the unit of production. So it's a function of output, because when the output increases, variable cost also increases, and when the output declines, variable cost also declines. Why does variable cost increases when the output increases? Because when the output increases, so the more raw material is required, more labor is required. So due to all this reason, this variable cost increases with the output. When we are talking about the fixed cost, so it is also known as supplementary cost, and it is not the function of output. It doesn't increase and decrease with the output. Like rent of factory. If you are spending, even though you are producing 200 unit, still you have to pay 1000 rupee per month factory rent. And even though you are producing 200 units, still you have to spend only 1000 rupees as a factory rent. So due to change in the units of production, due to increase in the units of production, this fixed cost is not getting changed. It's not getting increased or decreased due to change in the units of production, due to change in output. That is why it's known as fixed cost. So therefore fixed cost is not the function of output, but it is the function of capacity. It is the function of plant size. Like if you are producing 5,000 unit in a particular machinery, so you would require 5,000 rupees fixed cost. But if your production increases above 5,000 units, so then you would have to incur, your fixed cost will also increase. So this way, when the capacity increases, when the plant size increases, so there may be change in the fixed cost. Therefore, we say that fixed cost is not the function of output, but it's the function of capacity, it's the function of plant size. One more thing that we need to consider under the fixed cost is, when the unit of production increases, then the fixed cost per unit decreases. Like if you are producing, you are paying factory rent of 1000 rupees per month and you are producing 100 units. Okay, so here your per unit cost would be 10 rupees. But if your production increases, so along with your production, your fixed cost will not increase. It will remain same, that is 1000 rupees, and your production is increasing to 200 units. So now your fixed cost per unit would become 5. So this way, when the production increases, so the fixed cost per unit declines. So these are the different types of cost that we have seen today. In our next lecture, we would see the further topics. So you guys are requested to keep watching YouTube videos, because you are going to have your examinations very soon, and this YouTube videos and the concept that we are explaining you is going to be very helpful for you in the examination as well. So keep studying, work hard. Thank you.